A blight upon thy house. We've been hit by the blight. The potato blight, that is. Such a shame. The potatoes that I've had to pull out today should have been in probably for about another between 2 and 4 weeks. We should have seen August out with them into the beginning of September, really, with some of these. But they've had to come out because we've got the potato blight. There's nothing you can do about it, boys and girls. Once you've got the blight, you've got the blight. And it's good night to your spuds. So we're taking them up today. I'll tell you at the end, I do a weigh up. I'm a bit confused because I'm having to guesstimate a lot of the weights on site because the scales that we've got up on site only go up to £6. So I've had to bring them all home. You'll see at the end what we've weighed them in at, and they're all accurate. They've got the dirt on them still, but they're all pretty accurate. On the next episode, or maybe the episode after that, once the potatoes have cured, have to let them cure. We're going to show you how to preserve the potatoes, especially the main croppers, so that you'll get a few months of storage out of them. But yeah, on this episode, we're just basically pulling up the blighty potatoes. Okay. This is going to be a Shed Wars one as well. So Arkansas woodcutter, you can add this one to your collection and take the mickey out of us. But blight's blight, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Ain't nothing we could do about it. The blight. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Right, see you later on, boys and girls. Enjoy. Houston, we have a problem. That's come on in the last sort of day or two. And I'm pretty sure that it's blight. Potato blight. These brown blotches is early blight, I do believe. Concentric brown circles on the leaves, working their way in, shriveling them, yellowing them. I reckon that's blight, boys and girls. Which means we're going to have to cut all of that out, all of those leaves off. Get rid of them. They're not going to go into the compost either. Those they're going to be getting rid of by burning. Trouble is you can't burn down here, but I'll have to get shut because blight will spread. The fungal spores will spread, and it's on those, and it's also on the Sarpo mirror, which is known as a blight resistant variety. But if you look at these here, ain't that blight resistant, are they? Pretty sure that that's blight. Oh, well, they're going to have to come out. Some of these down the front have only been in since April, so we're not expecting spectacular results here. But it's the weather. It's been very, very damp, humid conditions. And that's assisted our old enemy to get stuck in. Okay, I've got a lot of clearing to do, boys and girls. Robin's making an appearance. You see him down the end, getting grubs. Good lad. So I've cleared all the top horns, the foliage from the spuds. Blight, mate. Oh, what a shame. But we have got potatoes. It's just that we're going to have to take them all at once. I was wanting to sort of take them a row at a time. But once you get the blight, you've got the blight, and that's it. You've got to get shut. You've got to get rid. Otherwise, you'll lose the entire crop. As happened in Ireland a couple of centuries ago. The potato famine, blight was the cause. So out they come, and we'll see what we've got. So it's going to be, hopefully, a bit of a bumper potato harvest today. I'll check on everything. His plumage is coming away there. You need to tidy yourself up, you lad. You look a right state. He's molting his feathers. Okay, now considering these were put in on the 18th of the 4th, 20, and they're all supposed to be Sarpos, they ain't, because we must have an interloper. All those potatoes that have come out of here, this corner. So a white man has infiltrated the lands of the red man. In there, but that's all come out of from the one plant. What I did do with these beds is I put 1, 2, 3 seed potatoes in each row, and the idea was we'd have 3 rows, so there'd be 9 seed potatoes in a sort of metre square. And we did the same with the Maris Piper, King Edwards, and again the King Edwards have got some red guys in there, which look suspiciously to me like red Dukes of York. So there's been some interbreeding going on, I think. Certainly the bedfellows have mixed. My fault, obviously, must be, but one of the seed potatoes there, I'm pretty certain, because I know what they look like, these red Dukes of York. And they're a first early red Dukes of York. They look exactly like that with the little white nodes on them, little white spots on them. So we'll see what we've got going up here. I'm pretty sure that these are King Edwards. These are just the surface ones. When I pulled up the horns, these came up with them. So we'll see what's underneath there, because I did bury them down about 10 inches. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh, I'm gonna smash myself up there and fall over. We're going to get some decent results, even though they are being pulled early. They are being pulled probably 3 weeks before I wanted to pull them. Certainly these ones down this end. Up at the top end, they were planted about a month before, and they've been successionally put in, these potatoes, so that we could have successional harvests, if you like. But the blight has put pains to that. It's blighted our efforts, literally. So we'll see what we've got anyway. So I am pulling some of the reds, the Sarpos, from the side. I'm going to be getting all of those out, hopefully filling the bucket with those, and continuing on. And I'll show you at the end what we've got. That's 2 rows of the Sarpo Mira, and I reckon there's about 12 pounds in weight there. That's 1 row of the Maris Piper. Now the Maris Piper were put in 2 weeks before the Sarpos, but there must be 24 pound there. I can barely lift it. There's got to be at least 20 pounds there, and probably about 12 pounds, 13 pounds, about 12 pounds, if that, maybe less, 10. I'll have to weigh when I get back, but there's double there, what there is there. That's from 1 row, and that's from 2 rows. So if you work that out, that's been 4 times as productive, the Maris Piper, than that, and with the 2 week difference. The 2 week difference won't have made all the difference, because potato-wise, there's just more proliferation of potatoes with the Maris Piper than there is with the Sarpo Mira. Now, whether I've had a bad batch of Sarpos this year, I don't know, because last year there'd have been 3 times that. In fact, last year we filled a bucket from each row, like that. So, strange. But we didn't do Maris Piper last year. We'll be doing it next year, that's for certain. That's just 1 row, so we'll see what we've got in the others. So we're about halfway through now, and I've managed to unearth some more Sarpo Mira. So I think we're up to about 15 pounds of Sarpo Mira. But the Maris Piper have done us proud, really. These are the big 14-inch buckets. Big 14-inch cut flower buckets, and so out of the 9 seed potatoes that we put in there, that's what we've got. And I think that's a pretty good return, really. You're going to be talking over 30 pounds there. So yeah, we're on to the King Edwards now. And then lastly, up at the top there, the Desiree. Now I have taken 2 plants out of that when I was testing it the other day, checking. And I thought, well, I'll leave them in a bit longer because there weren't that many spuds. But I'll see. That was about 5 days ago when I took the 2 plants from the left-hand side up there. So there won't be as many anyway because there's 2 less plants. So there'll only be 7 plants being taken up there. But we'll see what we've got. So that's what we got from the King Edwards. A few manky. These were the only ones that we found that have been a bit manky. There's a couple that were close to the top. There's one there that's a bit don't look too good, does it? And the slugs have had a right good go at that one. None of the other ones have got a mark on them. But yeah, the King Eddies are there. Quite a good result. I think there's over 20 pounds there, the King Eddies. Got to be about 21, 22 pounds there, a King Edwards. In that big bucket. Some weight to them. But so far, the Maris Piper is the king. With around about, I would say, 32 pounds. And then there's about 15, 16 pounds there of the Sarpos. So last but hopefully not least is the Desiree. Now remember, there's 2 buckets missing from this one. So I would say that we're going to be about £5 down at least. But we'll see how we get on. Right, so last and least, it is least I would say, is the Desiree. Another main cropper, but that was put in on the 28th of the 3rd, 20, so that's been in the ground for the longest period of time. Again, 9 seed potatoes went in, and that's all we've got. But I reckon they'll make the best chippers, because they're decent size, most of them. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing that. I would say that there's about £9. I'd say £9 there. I'm going to say £20 for the King Edwards. I'm going to say 32 for the Maris Piper, and I'm going to say £12. Yeah, about £12 for the Sarpos, the Sarpo Mira. So the combination of the frost damage, which we were hit heavily by a late frost, so the late frost and the early blight has devoed us, isn't it? Eh? £12, 32, so that's £48, £68, 75, 76, 77. We've got another, say, £2 to add to that from the ones that I'd already taken out. We'll call it £80 of potatoes in weight out of that bed, but I'm going to be saying it should have been at least twice as much as that. At least twice that. That's what I wanted. Yeah. It's because we've got 36 seed potatoes in there. We've only really had £2.5, and I wanted about £5. It should have been twice that from the main croppers. Maybe I'm being over optimistic there, but I think when we planted those in, we did everything right feed wise, and yeah, we should have had twice that. If it wasn't for the frost and the blight, they'd have had about another month in the ground, them, I'm guessing, and yeah, they would have been twice as good, twice as big of a harvest. They're all decent potatoes, though, to be honest with you. There's not much damage to them, apart from the ones that we got there off the King Eddies. But unless you whip them out, when the blight comes, unless you whip them out, I'm going to be bagging that up and taking it off site. That's going to be well away from this site. But I'm not the only one that's got it. We've been looking around, and it seems that everybody's got the blight, the early blight. Potato blight, early. My parsley's looking a bit shot at as well. On the upside, we've got peas coming through. I chucked some peas into there. We've got some more peas coming through. The cauliflower and the Chinese cabbage is doing okay in there. All the beans, the sweet corn, the last of our peas are ready. They're going to be coming out next. Got some more peas over there. Those were the gutter peas, the ones that we grew in the gutter. Started off in the gutter and planted in. And these are some that I've just directly put into the compost there. And they're coming through. So that's alright, isn't it? Got to get these out now though. But I think I'll have a brew first. I think I'm going to have a coffee. Because it's about 1:45 in the afternoon. And I've been doing that bed there for the last 2 hours. If you notice, none of these potatoes have been forked. I'm dead good with a fork, me. He said lyingly. I've dug them out with these mitts. Hand dug those out. All these potatoes. I will fork them after just to make sure I've got them all. But I like to do be like Mr. Badger and dig them out by hand, rooting down by hand, which is what I do. And then you don't fork them then. It's a bit more labour intensive, obviously, and takes you longer, but you retain and maintain and keep as many of the potatoes as possible that way. And then I'll give it a final fork through just to make sure there's no little ones that I've missed. Although I will have missed a couple of little ones. Every single time you put potatoes in, you can be as thorough as you want to be, but there'll always be a couple that'll escape and they'll come back as volunteer spuds next year. But yeah, that's the big potato bed. Yeah? Never mind, eh? Can't do it. You can only work with nature. You can't defeat Mother Nature. What happened was, if you look back in the previous episodes from about probably 3 months ago, it was probably second week of May. The potato plants were up. They were up about 10 inches above the ground, and then we had a very late but quite harsh frost, a -6 frost for 2 nights, which practically devastated them. They all went black and down to the ground. They came back, we took all the black leaf off, and they did come back through, but that set them back, I would say, about a month, and left them a little bit more susceptible to our old friend the blight. They weren't as strong and vigorous, and so we had early blight as well, that's what's happened. But like I say, we're not the only ones. I think practically everybody's been hit with a blight. But at least they're nice and clean and they're unforked, eh? Fair play. On a brighter note, the charge controller has been replaced and we have power again, and I'm able to charge up my power tools. The only thing I can't suss out is the lights, because the lights are no longer working. I mean, that's going into there, and it's supposed to be feeding out to the lights. That's working. I can charge my phone up and everything, but for some reason, the cabin lights are no longer working, and we don't know why. So, further investigation required on that one. But yeah, I can charge everything up. I can run my fridge. Yeah, that's alright. I need to get another battery still. Still need another battery to store that power. But, I mean, that battery's on 14.1 there. It's fully charged up. We've got quite efficient solar power coming through. Oh, just knocked something over with my elbow. Whacked myself right on my funny bone then. With that. Hit it right on the corner there. Yeah. Alright. Let's get that on. Oh, that's not for the toilet. That's for cleaning the potatoes with that. Stick it in the drill and clean the potatoes. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, so while my coffee's cooling down, I'll get so excited I wet my plants. While my coffee's cooling down, I'm going to take up the horns. So they're going to all be dehorned, and the same process as we did in the big top bed will be done in the smaller tiki hut end bed. We'll get these out. Again, I think these are Sarpo Mira and we've got Maris Piper at the front, Sarpomere on this side. Look at that. Eee! Gotta come out that. So I've dehorned them, and all the horns are in the bag. A big old compost bag. Now, that's going to be disposed of off-site. I'm going to get it all off-site. I've just noticed in the buckets as well, we're getting it. Such a shame, innit, eh? I mean, look at these. They haven't been in too long. They've only been in 3 months, I would guess, tops. I put them in with my mum about 3 months ago. End of March, beginning of April, probably the same time that they went in up there. Yeah, so we'll see what we get, eh? The same with these, really. These were all put in at the beginning of April. So, yeah, I'll get a bucket. I'll get a big bucket, actually, over there. One of these. And knock all that out, and we'll put them in there. See what we get. Not hoping for much, really, to be honest. It's going to be a bit of a devastation year for potatoes, but out they've got to come. So far in this like sort of 2 foot stretch, we've done about 1.5 of the beds, and that's what we've pulled so far out of there. So I'm going to carry on doing my Mr. Badger bit and digging them out. As I'm doing this, I'm pulling any sort of like little weeds that I'm seeing and bits of leaf as we go, and yeah, they're coming up. Right, I'll crack on with that. No, that's a fair result. My grandpappy would be made up with that. So that bed's 8 foot by 4 foot. That slug there, monstrous. We're dispatching him. I've had a good root through and rummage through the soil, and cleared away any weeds and what have you. And I think that's our lot, but I've just picked that up now. That's a good £36, that. Easy. So that's alright. Out of 8 foot by 4. I think that bed's actually done better than the top bed, pound for pound, measure for measure. As I say, in the buckets, we have the same issue, so they've got to come out as well. Now, there's 3 large buckets, sort of 30 litre-ish buckets. I think that one's about a 45. Maybe it's a 30. I'll check later. That's the big sort of decorative type of bucket. And so we'll see what we've got in there, because I think I put 2 seed potatoes in each one of those, and a single seed potato in each one of those, which are the 14-inch tall Asda cut flower buckets, and there's 2 of those and 3 of the large ones. So they've all got to come out. So let's see what we've got in the bucket. Alright, so bucket 1, as I was tipping it out, split, because it was bottom heavy. It's looking promising, isn't it? That. In fact, it's looking very promising. Okay, let's see what we've got out of that one 14-inch cut flower bucket. So 1 potato in, which was about that size, has produced all of those. About 20, about 16 decent sized ones. Well, about 14 decent sized ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's not bad from a bucket, though, is it? From 1 bucket, there's enough for a meal there for the 4 of us, I think. £1.50 there out of the bucket. So we'll get the rest in, eh? Do the rest. See what we've got. I have a feeling that this one may actually be better than the other one, the last one. There's a chance for it. These are decent spuds. maybe not. They're all sort of around the bottom to the middle. Make sure you get all the little ones out. I think that's a lot for that, but still not bad. Not bad, that is it, from a bucket. About £1.25 there, maybe. It's the first bucket, second bucket. In the buckets as well, I've noticed they're very clean. There's not a mark on them. I've got no slug damage whatsoever either. And it's not a bad return really from a bucket. 2 buckets of potatoes there. About £4 ish, maybe. I'll weigh them. Let's weigh them and see. So we're inside the tiki hut, out of any wind. That's been torn. I turd it. I don't like using that word. That's what the situation is with that little plastic tray on top of it. So I'll take that off there, because we know that that is accounting for the weight of the tray. I'll take that off of there now. I'll fill it up with the potatoes and then I'll put it back on. A bit of a balancing act that was. But I make that £3.5, which is £1 3/4 per bucket. I don't think that's too bad considering the trials and tribulations we've had. It's the blight that's done it. I mean, we could have had a couple more weeks. I was going to have a couple of more weeks of growing time on those if the blight hadn't hit. And it's only really in the last sort of 4 to 6 weeks that you start getting the tubers coming on the plant. So they've only really been growing the tubers. I mean, they've been in for 3 months, but they've only really been growing the tubers for the last sort of 4 to 5 weeks. So another couple of weeks, they would have fattened up, and we'd have got probably around about £2.25, so £4.5 out of the 2 buckets. But I did say to Julia, Julia's gardening diary, when she came down visiting us, I did say to her that we were hoping to get £2 to £2.5, which we probably would have done if it weren't for the bloody blight. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with them spuds. They'll eat very nicely. So 2 seed potatoes in each of these 30-litre ones. I've moved us across to this bed, which has got the horse manure in it. It's going to get the compost put in it, the spent compost. Further amendments will be going in there, but you can see there's also, I think the carrot mix has been thrown in there as well, and a couple of the parsnip spent composts. It'll get some bloodfish and bone in it as well, but you've got the nitrogen there from the horse manure. That's all going to be mixed in and then topped off with some fresh compost. But this is where we're going to be doing the tip out. So we've just got the 3 large containers left now with the 2 seed potatoes in each. So let's have a crack at that, see what we've got. In these big pots, I believe we put kestrel, which is a second early potato. In the smaller ones, they were Ulster Prince, which were a delicious first early, which is good because we've got £3.5 of them. We'll have a nice Sunday lunch with that, easy. In fact, we'll have 2. But these are going to be coming out, these second earlies. These kestrel have got little pink markings on them, as you can see there. There's a widdly worm there, furious with me. So yeah, we'll have a delve into that, see what we've got. I'll come back to you. Now those were the 2 seed potatoes. They don't look too bad actually. Still quite firm. But yeah, we're getting into it now. The kestrel are coming through. As I say, these are a second early. So these could have done with being left in the ground probably about another month really. Good ideal results. I mean, there's only a little bit of brown spot on these. They're not too bad, really. They're not too badly affected, but I can't take the risk. It's not the done thing to leave them in when you've got the blight. Lots of little ones on. I'll take the root ball out. Now, Mum's just turned up burring rich homemade compost. So she's just at the gate there. I'll go and let her in. So there's some work going on here, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
All the leaves are going into the bags, and we're going to take those down. Well, take them off site and dispose of them. Right, let's continue with the tip out. See what we have got. Got 2 more to go. Quite disappointing results from the first bucket of kestrel. 2 seed potatoes, that's appallingly bad. Second earlies. So let's see what we've got in these. So I've just emptied a bucket and half a bag of Mum's homemade compost into this bed, and it's more or less topped it off now. That's going to be ready then for more plantings. Here's the fantastic results we got from those 2 those 3 big buckets. Pathetic, innit? Let's weigh them and see what they were. I don't think we're going to be bothering with kestrel next time. 2 1/4 pounds out of them 3 big buckets. 2 seed potatoes in of each. That's ridiculously crap, isn't it? Rubbish. Last bed of the lot, which are red dukes and kestrel. So red dukes, there's 6 seed potatoes there, and 6 seed potatoes there, and that's in the pallet collar that I put in upside down the wrong way. Those whatever they call nodules or whatever, I'll call them a nodule. They're pointing up, they should be pointing down on the side brackets, but nil desperandum, we'll sort that out. Right, let's see what we've got in here. Right, so that's all been pulled out now. There's the red dukes. It's about £10 and about £6 of kestrel. So the red duke's done much better than the kestrel, as you can see there. So I don't think we'll be bothering with the kestrel next year, because that's the second early. Now it might be the case that it's not had enough time in the ground, but they've certainly done well. Yeah, so 6 seed potatoes went in. There's about £10 there in weight, and about £6 of the kestrel. So there we go. So to recap, from the 2 14-inch Asda cut flower buckets, we've got the Ulster prints, 3.5 pounds of Ulster prints. From there, over there, we've got the red Dukes of York. I'm going to say there's a good £10 of spuds there. There's about £8 of kestrel. Now the kestrel were a bit disappointing, really, weren't they? That's from out of there, and also from out of the three big tubs where there were 2 seed potatoes in each tub. Only about £6 or £7 there. So not too spectacular. The kings of the day are Maris Pipers, piping in the spuds there. I'm going to say for those, you're going to be talking at least £45, £45 I'm saying for them in total. There'll be, well, yeah, at least £40 for them. In the, I'm going to say, because I felt the weight of them, and in comparison to the £3.5 there that the flies like, that's going to be about 6 times that, so about £22 there. There's £45 there, easy, of the Maris Pipers. There's about £22 there of the King Edwards, and then the Desiree. So, yeah. We're missing one, aren't we? We're missing one. Got to be missing one. Got to be missing the Sarpo Mira. Where have they disappeared to? Let's try and find them. I've left them up at the top. About £14 a Sarpo Mira. Yeah. So that's not too bad, is it? What's the tally up then? What did we say for these? £10. 10. I'm not making a very good show of this, am I? 10. There's £20 there. £30. I'm going to say for them there's £30 there. So 30, £60 in weight so far. In that there's 25 at least. I'd say there's 25, £30. £30. I'm going to have to weigh them, man. I'm making a right pig's ear of this. Did I laugh? I'm just going off the weight and the feel of them. About £10 there, so that's £20, £30 altogether. Them two combined, I'm going to say, is about £25. So we're at £55. I'm going to say for that there's £30 in there. So that's £85. And for them ones there, they're probably going to be about £15. So there's £100 weight there. That's £7 there, £107. Probably about £9 of them. 107, 116, 107 and 9. Yeah, 116 and £3.5 there. So £120 in weight. We were hoping for about double that though, to be honest. And it's the frost and the blight that's done us. There's a pigeon watching. Where's the pigeon? Huh? Up where? I'll get my air rifle out. Yeah, he's looking at the peas probably over there, the swine. Right, so there's £110 in weight of spuds there. Yeah, so we're going to have to preserve them, aren't we? Store them. With these ones, the new potatoes and the second earlies, they probably won't store very well. They're all in good condition, these ones. We've sort of vetted them and quality control checked them, and there wasn't too many casualties. We only had about 5 or 6 spuds that were not making the muster. So at least the quality's there. And I'll leave the dirt on them, the ones that we're going to store, and we'll do that stage next. So yeah, as I said at the beginning, we're going to be doing a preservation and storage on the potatoes on the next, probably not the next episode, but probably the episode after that. So we'll show you how to do that with the ones that we are going to store. But I'll give you the rundown, the weighing, the actual weighing. Okay, so starting with the top bed, we've got, of the Sarpo Mira that we uncovered, in total there was £14 and 4 ounces. The Maris Piper, there were £33 and 1 ounce of the Maris Piper. I'm going to be growing Maris Piper again, that is a certainty. The Maris Piper were put in 2 weeks before the Sarpos, to be honest, but that discrepancy in weight doesn't work out, does it? The Maris did much better than the Sarpos, which surprised me. The King Edwards were £20 and 4 ounces in total, and the Desiree was slightly more than I thought, and it was £11 and 12 ounces. So the King Edwards was slightly less, about knocking on for £2 less, but the Desiree were nearly £2 more. So in total for that top bed in potatoes, we had £79 and 4 ounces. Okie dokie. The tiki bed, which is the one that was in front of the tiki hut, Maris Piper were the main ones in that. In the video, you only saw the Maris on top, but underneath that, there were £5 of Sarpomera, £5 9 ounces of Sarpomera, and £25 and 3 ounces of the Maris Piper. Now, in the 3 big pots that didn't yield very much, and also in the pallet collar bed, in total of the Kestrel, we have £9 and 9 ounces. I'm not going to bother with Kestrel again next year, because that's from 6, 8, 10, that's from 12 seed potatoes, you're getting £9 and 9 ounces. Now, I know they were hit by the blight and they didn't get the full opportunity to grow to full fruition, but no, not enough that. Whereas the Red Dukes of York that were in the pallet bed came to a grand total of £13 and 1 ounce. Now that's not bad. That's 6 seed potatoes that went into there, and that's over £2 per seed potato. We're having that. And then finally we have the Ulster prints that were in the 2 14-inch Asda cut flower buckets, and they came to £3 and 5 ounces altogether. Now the grand total for all of those potatoes was £134 and 6 ounces. Right. Yeah. Now, as well as that, we've also had £39 and 4 ounces from the other buckets, the other cut flower buckets that we grew in. So we had 26 further first earlies, a mixture of the Red Dukes of York and the Ulster Prince, and so in total, yeah, what was it? 36 pounds. 36. I've got it written down. Yeah, so the further £36 and 4 ounces that we've taken out. So yeah. What does that come to then? £170 or just over £170, £170, 10 ounces. Now I wanted £300 in weight out of all of those growing mediums and containers, so it's a lot less than we were hoping for, but still it's not too bad, is it? It's better than nothing, which we could have had with all the frost and the blight that we've experienced this year. It's been a bit of a bad year, but you've still got food there. You've still got sustenance. We should be all right for potatoes really for the next 2.5 months. Yeah, if we store them correctly. So I'll see you later. If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the winter. I've been Guru Mafinder as always. You've been fantastic, wonderful, beautiful and fragrant. And keep growing with your head down. And remember, we love you all. Goodbye from Blighty. Take care one and all. See you later. Bye.